So one of the hits that we found during the Christmas season were these smaller boards that we made. These are bar boards, or sandwich prep boards we call them. This one here is still unfinished, but basically these boards would be about 10 inches by 7 inches. I'll end up routing around and finishing this. As you can see, I've used some beech wood, some bloodwood, and some canary wood, and it's a beautiful combination. These are edge grain or face grain of the wood, but the final product's only going to be about a 1/2 inch thick, so it's imperative that we get our glue up right so that these boards don't come out of the clamps the next day once we glue them up and they're not cupped or warped. So we're going to do a quick video here to show you the process. This is our first take, so hopefully it will go well. The first thing is having a clean work area, and then having all your supplies here. These pipe clamps I think work the best. I've got some extra clamps that I'll be putting across the middle of the board. I've got a couple of blocks of wood that I'll end up using to place over the boards, and then clamp these down onto the pipes, which help keep the boards flat as we go. I've got some, these are wrapped by the way in saran wrap, which will keep them from sticking to your cutting board, which you definitely don't want to happen. And I've got a bucket of water, a rag, my glue roller and tray, and my glue, which is filled with Titebond 3, which is the only glue that we use. And then of course I've got my wood, and this is ash, purple heart, and yellow heart. These pieces are basically going to be around the same thickness, so they're going to be fairly easy to glue up. Some of the ones that I make that have thinner strips get a little more complicated. However, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So here we go. So we give it a nice healthy dose of glue. And then start rolling it out. Thankfully I put wax paper down over my bench so that any extra glue that ends up running off the edges doesn't end up all over my workbench. And in my haste here, I'm actually doing a very sloppy job, but it will it'll still turn out great, I believe. So as we roll this out, and you can also see that what I like to do is draw a line on the top of my boards as I go to put them on, and then that way it's easier to line them up. With these it's not quite as important since they're all roughly the same size and straight pieces. When I get into the more intricate boards, then it starts to become more essential that they match up. So we've got that. We just snug these up slightly, the clamps. We're going to put these blocks down, and then we're going to take our other bar clamps and start to tighten these up. They don't have to be overly tightened now, because we're going to try to move them a little at a time as we bring them together. And if you make a mistake or something, this Titebond is some great glue that it bonds so well, but it gives you a little time to work with. So you don't have to be in a super hurry, but it will dry as you put it in. So the next thing we do is take these clamps, and this just clamps onto the bottom of the pipe, and thus it will keep the board flat as we really secure and tighten the pieces. And of course do it on both sides. And this is my left-handed side, which is not nearly as my less skillful side, let's just put it that way. Again, these will be tightened up to a degree, but not overly tightened, because we still want to pull these together. And what this does is eliminates the pipe clamp from raising the board up to where you get any kind of a cupping or such. So we'll just snug these up, and that is basically about it. It will you'll start seeing the glue running out the bottom side, which is a good thing. Shows that we have ample glue on there. And all we have left is about 6 or 7 more to go. So enjoy.